The sun was dipping low over the desert, all dusty and super quiet. A coyote howled far off, sounding super sad. Then everything got still again. It was that kind of quiet you only get way out here, where the land, the heat, and even your patience feel stretched thin. Jedediah Boone, who everyone just called Boone, was chilling on his porch, boots kicked up, sipping cold coffee that he didn't mind one bit. His old ranch spread out in front of him like a worn-out blanket fences falling apart. Dry dirt, stubborn animals, and so much quiet it could make you feel stuck. He'd been living alone for almost 9 years. No wife, no kids, hardly any visitors. And that was okay, until this morning. He saw something out there in the distance before the heat made it all wobbly. First, it was just a puff of dust. Then a boy walking slowly up the road, his shadow stretching long behind him. Boone squinted, watching as the light grew. It was a kid, maybe 12 or 13, skinny as a stick and just as stiff. He had a bag over his shoulder and wore a raggedy shirt way too big, no shoes. Boone thought he'd stop, ask for water, or maybe a piece of bread. That happened sometimes lost kids or wanderers looking for a place to crash. But this boy didn't ask for anything. He just walked up to the porch steps, dropped his bag with a huff, and gave a slow, tired nod. "Sir," he said, his voice soft. Boone didn't say anything at first, just checked the kid out. "You running from something?" he asked after a bit. The boy shook his head. "Not running, just walking." "From where?" The boy squinted. "Don't really know, just away." Boone let out a little grunt, got up, and stepped to the porch's edge. The boy didn't move. "You hungry?" "Yes, sir." "You any good with a shovel?" The boy's eyes flicked up for a second. "Yes, sir." Boone nodded once and headed for the door. "Well, there's biscuits from yesterday. Come on." The boy paused, then grabbed his bag and followed. Inside, Boone took his time. He never rushed. He put a plate on the table, 2 biscuits, cold but soft, and a cup of water. The boy didn't wait for a go-ahead. He ate like he hadn't had food in weeks, which Boone figured was probably true. But he didn't talk while eating, didn't ask for more. Just chewed, swallowed, and stared at the table like it was hiding something. Boone watched him for a bit, then sat by the fire. "What's your name?" he asked. The boy wiped his mouth. "Finn." "Family?" The boy paused, then said quieter, "Not anymore." Boone let that sit. He knew not to push too fast. Some stuff comes up slowly, like old bones in the desert. "You got somewhere to go, Finn?" The boy looked at him, his eyes too old for his young face. "No, sir," Boone nodded. "Well, if you want to work for a place to stay, I've got more land than help. Dig fence posts, clean stalls, feed the dogs, stay out of trouble, and I'll feed you and keep you dry." Finn blinked. "That's it." Boone gave a small smile. "That's it." The boy nodded. "All right." And that's how it started. By evening, Finn had cleaned out the chicken coop, carried 2 buckets from the well without spilling, and fixed a broken gate latch without needing to be told twice. Boone didn't say much, just watched with his thumbs in his belt and sharp eyes. The boy was quiet, but not scared. He moved like someone used to being alone, like he didn't expect kindness, but wouldn't dodge it either. That night, Boone set out a blanket in the loft. "It's not fancy," he said, "but it's dry, and it's warm if you curl up tight." "Thank you," Finn said. "Don't thank me yet," Boone grumbled. "Gotta see if you stick around." The boy climbed into the hay with his bag under his head and stayed quiet. Boone watched for a second, then went down the ladder and locked the barn door. The wind got stronger, rattling the house's shutters. It'd be a cold night, but Boone figured Finn would be okay, and he was. In the weeks after, Finn just fit in, like he'd always been there. He didn't talk much unless you talked to him. Didn't complain when chores took forever or the weather was mean. He just worked every day. No fuss, no whining. Boone noticed stuff like how Finn never took more than half a plate of food, no matter how hungry he seemed, or how he slept with one hand on that bag like it was his whole world, or how he flinched a tiny bit when Boone yelled at the cows. Something had hurt that boy long before he showed up. But Boone didn't ask. He'd learned the hard way that sometimes it's better to stay quiet than dig for answers. Still, something about Finn stuck with him. Maybe it was how he talked soft to the dogs when he thought no one was around, or how he fixed stuff without being asked, like the hinge on Boone's tool chest or the creaky porch step. Or maybe it was how he stared at the stars when he thought no one saw, like he was asking them for something. By the end of 3 weeks, Boone set up a second cot in the bunkhouse, just in case. Finn didn't ask, but the next morning, there he was, curled up on it, bag under his head like always. Boone made flapjacks that morning, real ones with molasses. Finn looked up as Boone slid the plate over. "You're not sending me away?" the boy asked. Boone chewed slowly. "Only if you give me a reason." Finn nodded and dug into the flapjacks. For the first time since he got there, he smiled. It was small, barely there, but Boone saw it, and it meant something. A month went by like a breeze over dry grass. Days of sweat and sun, nights of wind and creaky wood. The ranch didn't care about the past. It just wanted work, and Finn gave it everything. Boone didn't talk much, but he saw it all. He saw Finn wake up before the rooster, already dressed when Boone stepped outside. He saw how the boy learned every chore like it was a battle plan, where to put the feed, how to check fences, when to calm the nervous horse in the north field. And he saw how Finn never opened that bag. Boone didn't ask, but he wondered. One night, after a long day fixing a fence and herding cows, Boone sat on the porch with a tin of beans and a pipe that had gone cold. Finn was by the barn, brushing the mule, not because he had to, but because the mule liked it. Boone cleared his throat. "You know," he called, "most kids your age dream of gold or guns, something cooler than shovels and feed." Finn kept brushing, slow and steady. "Dreams cost a lot," he said. Boone leaned back. "They sure do." There was a pause. Then Finn asked quietly, "What do you dream about?" Boone blew out smoke that wasn't there anymore. "I used to dream of being a big rancher. Wanted 1,000 cows, shipping beef to cities, making something huge. Got halfway there. What happened? Drought, then sickness. My wife died. Cows died. Nothing else seemed to matter." Finn was quiet for a long time. Then he said, "But you stayed." Boone nodded once. "Wasn't ready to be anywhere else." Finn didn't answer, just kept brushing the mule till it dozed off. That was the first time Boone talked about his wife in years, and the first time Finn asked about anything. They got into a groove, like guys do when they work the land together. Boone taught Finn how to fix a stirrup, spot badwood in fences, read the sky better than a calendar. He even let the boy ride a calm old horse named Sadie around the back field. Finn didn't smile much, but that day he did. "Careful," Boone warned. "She's nice, but she'll test you." "I'm okay with tests," Finn said. Boone watched as the boy guided Sadie into a slow trot. He wasn't smooth, not yet, but he had balance and patience. Horses can feel that. By dinner, Finn was dusty and still grinning. "Next time, I want to gallop," he said. Boone laughed. "One step at a time, kid." That night, after stew and quiet, Finn stayed by the fire a bit longer. His bag, always there, sat beside him. Boone glanced at it. "Must be something real special in there," he said, keeping it light. Finn looked at the bag, then at Boone. After a moment, he said, "It's not much, just pieces." "Pieces of what?" Finn reached into the bag and pulled out some folded papers. A small book, a cracked tin cup, a little wooden horse with a missing ear. He laid them out carefully, like it was a big deal. "This is my ma's book," he said, pointing to it. "She wrote down every penny, every jar we canned." He pointed to the cup. "My pa's, from the army. He only drank from it. Then, the horse. My brother made this. Gave it to me before he left for the mines." Boone just nodded. Finn hesitated, then unfolded a paper, a kid's drawing of a cabin with a crooked chimney and a lady with a basket. "My sister drew this. Said we'd live in a place like that someday, with chickens and apple trees." Boone stared at it for a while. "You got any of them left?" he asked softly. Finn folded the paper. "No," he said. "Just me." Boone didn't push. He just poured another coffee and handed it to the boy. A few days later, the weather got wild. Thunder rolled in like a big drum, and by evening, the wind was shaking the stable doors. Boone tied down the barn, while Finn grabbed loose tools and rope. "Ever seen a desert storm?" Boone asked. "Not up close." "Well, you're about to." The sky broke open at dusk. Lightning flashed like crazy, and rain poured down hard. The wind screamed, and the animals freaked out. Boone and Finn worked together, calming horses, fixing gates, covering feed with tarps. By the time they got back inside, soaked and exhausted, it felt like they'd fought a battle. Boone lit the stove, took off his wet coat, and pointed to the fire. "Get warm. I'll heat stew." Finn sat by the hearth, shivering but alert. Boone watched him while stirring the pot. "You didn't run," Boone said. "No point," Finn replied. Boone nodded. "Most kids would have bolted." Finn didn't look up. "I ran once. Took everything I had. I'm done running." Boone set a bowl in front of him. "You're stubborn, Finn." Finn shrugged. "Maybe. Good. This land doesn't like quitters." Finn smiled a little. They ate, quietly, listening to the storm pound outside. At one point, Boone asked, "You ever think about staying somewhere for good? Here, or a place like it?" Finn poked at his stew. "I don't know how. You learn one day at a time." Finn didn't answer, but before bed, he took the wooden horse from his bag, set it on a shelf by Boone's fire poker, and left it there. Boone didn't say anything, but he noticed that morning came slow after the storm, like the sky was tired. Everything was muddy and quiet. Birds weren't singing yet, and clouds hung low like ghosts. Boone got up early, as always, and found Finn already outside, barefoot in the mud, checking the fence. "You'll get sick," Boone called, pulling on his boots. Finn didn't turn. "Fence is down by the south slope. One post split in half." Boone walked over, shaking his head. "We'll fix it." Grabbed the cart. The mud made everything slow wheel stuck. Boots sank. They worked without talking, sweat mixing with leftover rainwater, muscles aching. But they didn't complain. By noon, they'd replaced 3 posts and fixed the wire. Finn wiped his face with his sleeve and sat on a dry rock, breathing hard. Boone handed him a canteen. "You're getting stronger." Finn drank deep, then handed it back. "I still feel small." "You are, but that's not the same as weak." Finn looked out over the fields. "I didn't feel small till I lost everyone." Boone crouched nearby, lost as that makes the world feel tiny. A long quiet passed. Then Finn asked, "Did you feel small when your wife died?" Boone didn't answer right away. "I didn't feel small. I felt gone." Finn looked down. "Sometimes I think that's what happened to me. Like I'm here, but not all of me." Boone nodded slowly. "Grief does that, but so does growing. You're still building who you are." Finn was quiet, then stood and brushed off mud. "I want to build strong," he said. Boone smiled a bit. "Then you're in the right place." As days got warmer, the ranch got busier. Fences needed fixing, horses needed new shoes, and a limping goat had twin babies. Finn helped deliver one with steady hands, surprising Boone. "You done that before?" Boone asked. Finn shook his head. "No, but it felt right." Boone grunted. "Good instincts." A week later, Boone rode to town for supplies, leaving Finn in charge. "Feed the animals, fix the eastern gate latch, it's loose. And stay away from the river. It's still high from the storm." Finn saluted. "Yes, sir." When Boone got back at sundown, everything was done, chores finished, tools cleaned. Finn was on the porch with a dusty old book. "Where'd you find that?" Boone asked. "In the attic. Thought if I'm gonna ride horses, I should read about them too." Boone laughed. "First time anyone's opened a book here in 5 years." Finn smiled. "It smells like dust and mice." "Most smart stuff does." They ate stew, same old heavy peppery stuff. After dinner, Finn sat by the fire, not with his bag this time, but with a worn notepad and a tiny pencil. "You writing something?" Boone asked. Finn hesitated. "Just names." Boone waited. "My ma, my brother, my sister. Names I don't want to forget." Boone poured himself a small glass of rye. "That's good." Finn looked up. You keep any names? Boone stared into the fire. 1. My wife, Emma. You don't talk about her. No point. Can't fix the past. Just live with it. Finn nodded. She must have been special. Boone's jaw tightened. She sang while she cooked terrible, like a drunk bird, but she never stopped. Finn grinned. Wish I'd heard that. Boone finished his drink. You'd have liked her. Then he went to bed. Late that night, Boone woke to hooves more than one horse. He grabbed his rifle quietly and stepped onto the porch. Finn was already there, crouched low, eyes big. I heard them too, he whispered. Boone nodded, telling him to stay back. They crept around the house. In the moonlight, 3 riders were at the edge of the field, not bandits. 2 unsure, but strangers, and that wasn't good out here. Boone cocked his rifle. Stay here. But Finn followed, barefoot in the grass. They got close, and Boone called, You're trespassing. 1 rider raised a hand. Not here for trouble, just looking for someone. Middle of the night's a bad time for that. The man got off his horse, younger than Boone, nervous. We're from a church in Denton. Heard there's a boy here, runaway, about 13, with a sack, walks with a limp. Boone didn't lower the rifle. Who told you? Sheriff said he's with an old rancher. Boone's voice got low. That sheriff know why the boy ran? The man paused. Said he went missing after a fire. Boone didn't blink. That fire's why he's alive. A pause. The rider said, We just want to talk to him. Boone turned. Finn, you know these guys? Finn stepped forward slowly, looked, then shook his head. No, he said. I'm not going back. The man frowned. Son, you can't live like this. Boone raised the rifle higher. This is his home now. You got papers? Any right to take him? The man backed up. No, sir. Just thought. We could help. Boone stared hard. You help remind him what he's not going back to. The men left. Boone and Finn stood in the dark till the dust settled. Finn whispered, I'm not afraid anymore. Boone nodded. Good, but keep the sack close, just in case. They went inside and locked the door. The next few days were too quiet, not peaceful, but like something was watching. Boone felt it, like animals before a storm. Finn felt it too, but didn't say so. He stayed near the cabin, helped more than asked, kept his sack by the door like a shield. Boone didn't push him. He knew about ghosts and let Finn carry his own. One morning, with mist still on the grass and hills all smoky-looking, Boone saddled 2 horses. Finn watched from the porch, rubbing his eyes. We going somewhere? Boone nodded. East Ridge. Got a cow stuck in a gully. Time you learn to rope something that kicks. Finn smiled sleepily. Hope she kicks slow. She won't. They rode through the mist, hooves quiet on wet ground. The sun rose, warm but pale, air smelling of cedar and stone. Boone let Finn lead, showing him trail markers, where the grass got rough, where the water was shallow, where rocks seemed to whisper if you listened close. Out here, Boone said, you gotta pay attention. Silence talks louder than anything when it's got something to say. Finn nodded, half getting it, though Boone's words still felt like puzzles. They found the cow stuck between 2 rocks, back legs dangling, panting hard. Boone got off first. She panicked, slipped. We need rope on both sides. I'll take the front. Finn jumped in. I got small hands, he said with a grin. Can get the rope under her neck better. It worked. Took half an hour, and they almost got kicked twice. But the cow got free, stumbling off toward the herd. Boone clapped Finn's back. You're getting good. Finn winced. I'm getting bruised. Same thing. They sat under a pine, eating jerky, drinking from a tin cup. The hills stretched out forever. Finn asked, You ever think about leaving? Just riding off? Boone chewed slowly. Used to. What stopped you? Boone looked at his hands. Figured I'd run enough. Time to build something? Even if it's just a place to die. Finn laughed, surprised. That's dark. Boone smirked. It's true. Finn got quiet. I don't think I want to run anymore either. Then don't? That simple? No, simple's not easy. They rode back slow, no rush, nothing chasing them for once. Back at the ranch, Boone chopped wood while Finn cleaned the shed. The wind smelled like dust and trouble, but not the kind you could shoot. By dinner, clouds were gathering low. A storm was coming. Finn poked at his beans. Boone glanced over. "Something on your mind?" Finn nodded. "That church guy. He'll come back, right?" Boone didn't lie. "Maybe. Or someone worse." "What do we do?" "What we always do. Get up early, work hard, face trouble when it comes." Finn looked him in the eyes. "Even if it hurts?" "Especially then." That night, thunder came before lightning, low and deep, like the earth talking. Wind shook the walls. Rain hammered the roof. But inside, the fire stayed strong. Finn sat close, sack beside him. Boone handed him warm cider. "Still sleep with that thing?" he asked, nodding at the sack. Finn touched it. "It's not about what's inside." "Then what?" "It's proof I got out. I'm still here." Boone nodded. "Keep it as long as you need. But when you're ready to let it go, you'll know." The storm passed by morning, leaving everything wet and shiny, like even broken stuff looked okay for a bit. Boone woke to find Finn outside, tossing hay to the goats, humming a half-made-up song. "You're cheerful," Boone said, stretching. Finn shrugged. "Didn't have a nightmare last night." "Good." Finn grinned. "Maybe the cider." They checked fences, counted horses, cleared mud by the coop. Everything felt normal till just before noon. Boone saw a dust trail thin high, like a tight string. One rider, moving fast. He set down the feed bucket and waited. Finn saw it too and froze. The rider reached the hill by midday. Same clean boots, same shiny coat, now with a satchel. Boone met him at the gate, rifle resting in his arm. The man didn't get off his horse. "Got a letter from the county," he said, holding it out. Custody hearing set. "They're asking questions." Boone didn't take it. "You trying to play dad now?" "I'm his blood. You're his ghost." The man scowled. "That boy's underage. Belongs with kin." Boone's eyes narrowed. "You tried to bury him in a sack. You lost your rights when you treated him like trash." The man got off, tossed a letter in the dirt. "I'll be back with the law." Boone stepped forward. "Bring more than paper. Bring truth. Bring God himself. 'Cause if you try to take that boy, you'll need all three." They stood close for a tense second. Then the man spat, turned, rode off. Boone didn't watch him go, just turned to Finn, who'd been behind the barn. "You heard?" Finn nodded. "You scared?" Finn swallowed. "A little." "That's okay. We stand scared, but we stand." That night, they added a second latch to the door, moved the spare rifle closer, shut every curtain. Finn stayed awake long after Boone slept. He thought about the sack, the darkness, the man who called himself uncle but never said his name. Then he got up, took the sack to the fire, opened it one last time, pulled out a shirt, an old comb, a coin his sister called Lucky, a drawing she made. He used tongs to feed the sack to the flames. Boone woke to the smell of smoke, walked in slow, saw Finn watching. "You sure?" he asked. Finn nodded. "I don't need it anymore." Boone put a hand on his shoulder, squeezed. "You're not what happened to you. You're what you choose next." Finn smiled, and in the firelight, he looked older, not from hurt, but from choosing to let it go. The ashes stayed in the fireplace. 2 days before the wind carried them up the chimney and away. Finn didn't mention it again. He walked taller, ate more, slept deeper. But Boone saw him check the road from the pasture gate, scanning the ridge, waiting for dust from hooves. On the third morning, Boone handed Finn a shovel. "We're digging a new root cellar." Finn blinked. "What's wrong with the old one?" "Nothing. This one's closer to the house and deeper." They worked all morning. Boone picked a spot by the woodshed. The dirt was hard from years of no rain, but Finn didn't complain. He dug, sweat on his back, hands blistering. Boone nodded when Finn kept going. By afternoon, the hole was waist deep. Boone leaned on his shovel. "You know what this really is?" Finn looked confused. "Practice," Boone said. "You learn to dig, to build, to work the land. It gives. You shelter." Finn nodded, wiping his brow. "What if someone tries to take it?" Boone smiled grimly. "Show them how deep your roots go." That night, Finn stood by the barn, watching the sun paint the hills orange. Horses shuffled, chickens clucked, Everything was calm. Too calm. Boone came up with 2 ciders. He hasn't shown up in 5 days, Boone said. Means he's gone for good or he's waiting. Finn gripped his mug tight. Boone looked at him. Either way, you don't run. You stand. That's what men do when there's something worth keeping. Finn looked at the trees. I never had anything worth keeping. You do now. They stood quiet till a breeze brought the smell of rain. 2 days later, it happened. Finn was cleaning stalls when he heard hooves. Not 1, but 3 or 4, slow and heavy. He ran out, saw dust rising. 4 riders came down the trail, one with a deputy's badge, one in a gray suit. And behind them, the uncle, looking smug and clean. Boone was on the porch, rifle low but ready, eyes on the suited man. Let me guess, Boone called. You're here for justice. The suited man coughed. For the court. This boy, Finn, is a minor. There's a custody claim by bloodkin, properly filed. Boone's voice stayed calm. He's not blood, not where it matters. The man pulled out a paper. He has a right to go with his kin, or you're breaking the law. Finn stepped forward. No, the riders turned. I'm not going back, Finn said. You can file all the papers you want, but he left me for dead, put me in a sack, dumped me like trash. Boone's why I'm alive. The deputy looked uneasy. Boy, we can't just take your word. Courts will sort it. No court was there when I screamed, Finn snapped. No judge saw what he did, but I did. Boone looked at the suited man. Got anything else? The man looked, shaken. No grounds to take him by force yet. The uncle sneered. He's a liar, worthless orphan. Boone's rifle lifted a bit. Say that again. The man froze. Finn stepped between them. Take your court, your lies, but I won't go. I'd rather starve in a barn than live with you. Silence. The deputy sighed, nudged his horse. This ain't over. The uncle growled. Boone's eyes went cold. It better be, or you don't walk away next time. The riders left, dust trailing. Finn sat by the fire that night, knees up, eyes empty. Boone handed him a mug. You okay? Finn nodded, but didn't look up. Why does he want me? Boone stared at the flames. Some men just want control. Doesn't matter who you are, just that you're under their boot. I thought it was over, Finn whispered. Almost is. He's not the law, just a shadow. Shadows disappear when you stand in the light. Finn stared at the fire till it blurred, then said quietly, Thank you for choosing me when you could have walked away. Boone chuckled soft. Kid, I didn't choose you. You chose to stay. That's braver than most men I've met. Next morning, they dug the cellar again. Autumn was creeping in, wind cooler. Finn stopped and looked at Boone. Does the land remember who works it? Boone paused. No, but it knows who bleeds for it. Finn nodded. Then I'll bleed. Boone handed him the shovel. Not too much. They laughed, and the storm passed, not forgotten, not erased, but faced. And that changed everything. Years went by. Seasons changed, dry summers, tough winters, springs that were always late. But the land stayed solid, and so did the people, who called it home. Boone's ranch didn't get much bigger. That wasn't the goal. But the fences were strong, barns full, horses fast and healthy, and the fire in the hearth never died. Finn grew into his boots. He learned to ride like he was born for it, fix anything with rope and iron, mend fences before they fell. More than that, he learned to trust, to talk without flinching, to carry memories without breaking. Boone got older, maybe slower, but never soft. His eyes stayed sharp, and when a rider came down the trail, he checked if Finn had his rifle close not, from fear, but pride, because the boy from the sack was now a man with fire in his blood and loyalty in every callus. One fall evening, Finn found Boone on the porch, blanket over his knees, pipe in his teeth. You ever think about that day? Finn asked. Boone raised an eyebrow. Which one? The sack. When you first saw me. Boone chuckled. Thought you were a dead calf. Ugly little thing. Finn grinned. Thanks. Boone nodded toward the hills. Now look at you. Stronger than the fence, meaner than my mule. They sat quiet. Then Boone said softly, You saved me too, you know? Finn looked over. I didn't know I needed saving. Boone went on. Didn't know how quiet this place was. How empty it felt with no one laughing or talking back. Then you showed up, dusty, half-starved, mad at the whole world. Finn smiled soft, still a little mad. Good. That fire keeps you alive. Boone tapped his pipe. When I'm gone, and I will be someday, this place is yours. The land, horses, the name on the gate. Finn looked down. I don't know what to say. Then don't. Just keep building, keep standing, and when another kid, another stray, shows up, you know what to do. Finn nodded slowly. I will. That night, the wind came from the east, cool and clean. Finn checked the horses, stirred the fire, and stood under the stars. He wasn't the same boy, but in a way, he always would be. The land hadn't forgotten, and neither had he.